What's up, everyone? My name is Sal Sincata, and today I'm here with Sharon Benton of Santa's Enchanted Workshop out of California. And today we are going to talk about implementing a Santa program. Sharon, welcome.
Thank you.
Give us a little intro. Tell us about yourself. You and I were talking off camera, but tell us how long ago you got started, how long you've been doing this. Give us a little 411.
So my husband and I started our photography business, Benton Photography, 20 years ago, and we were in it for about 13 years, and I just wanted something more. I wasn't fulfilled. We were doing good, but I needed something that I was passionate about, and so I had heard little bits and pieces about people dabbling in Santa portraiture. I started diving into it. I'm a big Walt Disney fan. I've always admired his ability to create an environment where parent and child can have the same experience and the same emotions at the same time and be 30 years apart in age. And I thought, if I can create that, this is what I want to do.
Well, and always feel like a kid, right? No matter how old you are, if you go to Disney, you kind of revert
100%,
back to that. So it's probably the same thing with Santa.
100%.
Now, Sharon, I will be truthful with you. I am a Santa hater. Not that I don't love Santa himself, right? But just like the idea of doing Santa photography was never appealing to me, which I'm sure a lot of people out there watching probably like, I'll never do Santa. But what you have created is nothing short of amazing. So maybe if my idea that was in my head of Santa, which was mall photography, right, which not good, compared to what you're creating, I think that's going to get a lot of people excited about this. So let's talk about it. This is going to be a 3-part series with Sharon, and we'll break it up for you. So segment 1, we're going to talk about getting started and session structure, something every photographer needs to know a little bit about, like how do I price this? That's probably what everybody wants to know. Second segment, we're going to talk about strategy and brand recognition, also very important. And then we'll talk about creativity, passion, and connection in that last segment. What's that segment going to be about? We talk about
the passion part.
Yeah.
That's the most important part of this whole thing.
Oh, I love it. It's like a teaser.
Exactly.
Sharon, don't say another word.
Okay.
We don't want them to know. Yeah. All right. So let me know. You told us kind of how you got started, but what inspired you to start offering this in your studio?
So, great question.
You were doing seniors. Talk
High
a little
school
bit about
seniors.
that.
So I had shared with you earlier that I have 5 children, and I live in a really nice area in California, but I've raised 5 children, and my husband and I were on a budget. We'd raise our kids on a budget. And when I started doing high school seniors, I actually started out with weddings, children, family, anything that moved, I would take pictures of, and it evolved, and we got really well known in our area as this high school senior go-to photographers. And we were doing well. But my challenge was once my family started getting into paying about $2,500, and I'm sitting there and they're actually spending more money, I would get uncomfortable. And I would be like, oh my goodness, your kids are going to be graduating from college.
Imposter syndrome, right?
Yes. Yep. I was selling to myself, and I couldn't get over it. And I said to my husband, I've got to find something that I'm passionate about, that I believe in, that it sells itself. And so I had heard about this, and we have a studio. My husband, he built our studio from scratch on our property, and that's what we used. And we had a back lot. We had the whole thing, and we converted it over 1 year, and we started our Santa's Enchanted Workshop, and I fell in love with it.
That's awesome.
And it has just grown from there.
So how long ago was that when you got started on the Santa side? Like, how long were you into photography?
So we were 13 years in, and we are entering our 9th season of Santa's Enchanted Workshop. Is that right? Nope, math is wrong. 9th. So I must have been 11 years in when we started.
Well, I mean, that's amazing, right? Think about how many photographers out there that you always hear, you can't teach old dogs new tricks. How many photographers out there, as they go through their career, they get stuck, they lose passion, they lose love for what they're doing, and then their work, everything just starts falling off. I love that you reinvented yourself here.
Yep. And you know what? It's more than just, it wasn't a new photography venture. I feel like I'm a curator of an event. It's more than the photography part of it, because there's so much more to what we're offering. I am putting on an experience. I have 1 hour with each family. We bat 1,000 every single time, that I have to know my families before they come in. So there's a lot on the back end. I'm already super friendly with them before they ever come in. I'm consulting with them. We are prepping that situation so that when they walk in, I can receive them and be ready for the experience we have for them.
So to that point, can you tell us about what the experience is? Meaning, in my head, I already told you, right, I'm thinking like mall Santa, come sit on Santa's lap, take a picture. What is your experience like? What's it like for the kids and the family?
So before they ever come in, the parents are going to fill out a questionnaire, so we're going to know a little bit about them. They're also going to receive an invitation that's custom to them in the mail, and so that starts the experience for
like
the children.
A Santa invite, almost like a golden ticket type of deal?
Kind of. It's a little more, everything I do, I like it to be really authentic looking and kind of on a vintage side. So
Nice.
This is wrapped with string. It has a wax seal on the back.
Oh, I love it.
And so the children are going to get that. They get that about a week before. But I've consulted with the moms about the clothing the children are going to wear. We call it pajama ready. That's camera ready. And my parents, if they want to be in part of the visit, they're invited into one or two of the pictures. I just tell them, come pajama ready. I'll know that we're going to have you come into those. But as far as the experience goes, it's amazing. So my studio is darling from the outside. I wanted it to be as charming on the outside as it is on the inside. And so the first couple of years we ran it, it looked like a barn because I wanted it to look like the area that we lived in. Well, I had two little girls that came the second year, and it was so sweet inside. They came up, they were too scared to come in. I'm like, 'cause I said to Scott, okay, next year, outside needs to be as charming as the inside. We headed down to Solvang, California. We went to Disney World, took my camera, got all my inspiration, came back. Scott built the false front to it. It is adorable. We have this great big arch door, and within this arch door is a little arch door, and that's the elf door, and that's where the children enter in. So when our children come in, Santa's not awake, and we do that purposely. That way, Santa's not looking right at them when they come in. We want them to be comfortable. I don't want children crying in our studio. I want them, my number one goal is that every single person, not just a child, but the parents too, feel a sense of love in there. That's what Santa represents. And so they feel that when they're in there. It's not, at this point, it is not about the pictures. Those are going to come. That happens naturally. It smells like Christmas. It feels like Christmas. It sounds like Christmas. You walk in and there's lights on, and it is so incredibly sweet.
I mean, true to what you said about Walt Disney, right? You're creating that experience, like from the roadside when they pull up and what they see.
Exactly.
That's incredible. So, just for my sake, walk me through like what visually, and I'm assuming we'll show some pictures overlay of what things look like here. But take me through like what it looks like visually. The kids are walking in. They're walking in through this little door. You said they don't really see Santa immediately as they walk in?
They see him. He's there. He's asleep in his chair. He's just kind of kicked back a little bit in his chair. No, actually, so you walk in and he's just to the left of them. I always say this. Every square inch of this place has been well thought out. Yeah, everything's been invited in. I don't just have, anything in there is to make it feel like you're walking into Santa's cottage home. Well, first off, I got to tell you, I meet them outside. There's a 1941 Ford pickup truck that sits in the front. It is cherry and it's beautiful. I have an 8-foot tall, it's an ice pole, and it is literally, it says North Pole. Yes. It's beautiful. And it has ice growing on it. There's no water source. It's all from the humidity in the air. I have an authentic sleigh.
Wait, it has real ice?
It does. It's awesome. I'll show you pictures of it. It really is really cool. You know where I got the idea? I went to an amusement park with my son and my daughter-in-law in Pennsylvania. They had one there, and I said to Scott, we need one of these. We came home, had it crafted, built for us. I have to say this too. I did have a mentor early on. Love him. And one of the things he said to me is, if you're going to do this, you need to do it right. And if you're going to do it right, it's going to cost you a little bit of money. And it has, and I'm okay with that because it has come back a bazillion fold to me by doing it the right way. There is lots of ways you can do these Santa sessions. You can do short sessions, mini sessions, whatever you want to call them. Mini sessions come with the many dollars. So you don't get it back like.
Right.
But if you're doing it the opposite of that, and you're doing this with your heart and soul, everything I do is because it's a good business decision. Is it fun? Oh yeah, it's fun.
See, I love what you just said, though. If we can divert this conversation a little bit, when it comes to business, I think a lot of photographers can't wrap their heads around, like, this is an actual business. And like almost everything in life, you get what you put into it. And it's going to be the same for consumers. You know, right now, we both know the economy, right? People are just in a weird state. They don't have a lot of confidence in the economy, so they're not spending money. So you'll see a lot of photographers say things like, well, there's no money out there. My clients won't spend. But see, I'm not having that problem in my business, and I'm getting the sense you're not having that problem either. And I think, and I don't want to put words in your mouth, tell me if I'm right or wrong, because we're creating this elevated experience, and people have money for the things that are important to them.
And you have to keep in mind too, I'm not Costco, I'm not Target. I don't need 5 bazillion people walking in. In fact, I can't do that anyway. This is, it's a rare experience for a family. And I touted this from the very beginning. When I started talking to my families and moms would call and they'd heard about it, I would say, it's a once in a lifetime experience. If you're doing once in a lifetime experiences, you're going to Disney World once, you're going to Hawaii once, whatever you're doing, you tend to spend more money when you do that and you go all in. So I am prepping them by the verbiage that I use. I say children, I don't say kids. I say invite. There are certain words that I use to help elevate this experience because it is an elevated experience. And I mean it with all sincerity, but I'm giving them something they cannot find. You cannot find what I offer anywhere else in the world. You can't. Other people offer Santa, and that's great, and I want them to offer their Santa the way they want to. But for me, this is my heart and soul, and it's got my stamp on it, every second of it.
And I'm going to ask you just point blank, because I know now that we've gone down this road, everybody's wondering, what are you pulling in per average session?
So I put my last year's average session with session fee, I'm counting that as well.
As you should.
Was $3,800 a family.
$3,800. Mm-hmm. So if you're out there saying, there's no money in this, well, you need to talk to Sharon. Because,
and I have, and
she's doing it right.
We have 100 families minimum a year up to COVID was awesome for us. I had 136 families and I was turning people away.
So I do want to ask you, how are you marketing Santa differently than maybe you're marketing other parts of your business? Like, is there high level, you don't have to share all your secrets with us, but surely there's something different you're doing to market Santa.
Word of mouth at this point is really great for us. I told you I have 2 trucks actually. Those are bulletin boards for me. I drive around town, it's recognizable, people pull out the camera, it's really cute. My husband is the one.
These are old vintage trucks?
They are, but it's not just an old vintage truck, it's a beautiful painted old vintage truck, and the side has gold leafing on it that says Santa's Enchanted Workshop. My grandkids love when my husband goes and picks them up after school, and the kids, when the truck drives up, these littles that are here in our town, they're standing on the side of the road and they're clapping Santa's Enchanted Workshop. It becomes a recognizable branded name. It's a word that people recognize.
Right.
I don't want anybody out there thinking, oh, she's just got people, that I book these without a lot of effort. It takes effort for me to book my season. I start early. I start in October is when my families start coming in. And I've built this up enough that just today was with Mario, I booked another session. If people are starting to notice, I am working with a videographer who's been amazing, who's helping me to create my own social media marketing. I tease all the time, I'm 60 years old. I don't feel like I'm old until it comes to technology. Then I feel like I'm old because I don't really understand that. So I'm the kind of person that believes in go to the professional. If I need my toilet fixed, I'm going to hire a plumber. If I need a good photographer, hire a professional. I needed help with this. I hired a guy. He's amazing.
Right.
And if anybody wants his name, he works nationwide. Just his ability to help me has been awesome.
It's so true too. Photographers, again, I hate to keep picking on them, but they have this mindset of like, well, I'm a creative, I can do everything, or it's my business, no one can do it better than me. And I feel like that is such a short-sighted mindset of like, that's not a scalability plan. You cannot scale if you think you can do your legal work, your accounting, your editing, your marketing, video production. Like, yeah, it's great. We have a camera that films video. Doesn't mean we should all be doing that.
Right. Yeah,
so
that's
I love
been
that.
a big help.
So tell me a little bit more about marketing. It sounds like you're using this video guy to create almost a behind the scenes of what the experience is like.
It started out with me hiring him. I knew that I wanted 3 videos done, one that would introduce what we do, so I could have it on my website, one that would introduce what to expect now that you've booked and how to prep for it, and one that went over my products. I did that. I also had commercial that was put out by Disney, and it was released at the 2023 Super Bowl. I have always loved this commercial. The ability for it, as soon as it's done, for me to go, okay, I'm ready to grab the grandkids, we're going to Disney. I wanted something like that, and so I took that video, I showed him, and I said, I know you're not going to be able to produce this because that's not what I'm looking for, but I want the impact, and I want it to evoke emotion so that parents will be at least drawn to look into this more.
So are you using maybe more traditional types of marketing? Are you doing direct mail or any of that other kind of stuff? Sounds like referrals is your number one source, and then you get to drive around some fancy cars that you bought and their tax deductions. I'm going to have to learn from you because I feel like I need a 69 Camaro for the business.
Probably just, I can tell you how to do that. So it's interesting that you asked that. And this is my firm belief. In my business, this is my 9th season. I really believe that this is line upon line. It's layer upon layer. I have built this business. For example, here's an example of, you said marketing. Well, this is one of the ways, and I don't know if you call this marketing, but it's one of the ways that I've built this business. 7 or 8 years ago, I have a mom that calls. I pick up the phone, Santa's Enchanted Workshop, and she'll say, hey, I'm interested in your Santa's Enchanted Workshop. How much does it cost? Well, I don't answer that question. I'll say, tell me about your children.
Yes.
So she starts telling me about, well, I have a 2-year-old, and I'll say, oh my gosh, that's so sweet. And then we'll talk a little bit more. And then I'll say, my 2-year-olds are my most unpredictable visitors. So let's talk about what we're trying to do here is a once in a lifetime experience. And I'm happy to have them come in, but they're not really at the point yet that they're going to remember it. You're going to love it. They're not going to remember it. So if you really want to do this just once in a lifetime, I would suggest you wait a couple of years to call me back.
Oh, I love that.
So I hang up the phone. I'm like, I'm turning business away. I really wanted to get 100 families this year. And do you know what's happened? I get families that call now. I pick up the phone. Hello, Santa's Enchanted Workshop. And they'll say, I talked to you a couple of years ago.
That's
it's
amazing.
our year. And I'm like, oh my gosh. Nobody told me to do that. It just made sense. I really didn't want to work with a bunch of 2-year-olds. I know they're unpredictable. And in my heart, what I want is every mom to come in, because they're paying a lot of money to walk in, just their session fee and their deposit alone. So you walk in, you're already a little bit stressed out, and your little 2-year-old's crying. They're going to be, for the first 20 minutes, they're going to be a little panicked about that. I'm very reassuring to them. I know how to make this happen, but I want it to be the wow factor before they ever walk in the door, but especially after they walk in.
Well, and you're building trust, right? Because
100%.
Now people are coming to you and they're not seeing it as transactional.
Right.
It's more relationship driven.
100%. And you had asked me about my sessions, and I'd love to be able to, can I share a little bit with that?
Do.
So purposely here, when they come in, Santa's asleep, I have a special box of bells. So they have control now when Santa wakes up. It doesn't take them long. I help walk them over. I put them in the order if it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Sometimes it's 5, but it's usually anywhere from 2 to 3 children. I stand them in the position that I want them to be. It's always the tallest, closest to who's going to sit next to Santa. So lighting and everything. My Santas are so well trained.
So you're shooting this as this is happening.
100%.
Ah, I see.
Yes, yeah. This is unfolding. This is a natural,
I want to change your
organic.
business a little bit if you don't mind. I feel like Santa would wake up better with cookies and milk. You know,
He will have that. He does get that.
If I were Santa, that's what I would want.
So they wake him up, and he stretches and he yawns and he leans forward and he
I
says,
love this.
Sal, you're here. I'm so excited. I've been waiting all day for you to come.
Oh my gosh. You kids have to eat that up.
Yep. And then he invites them to sit in his what we have prepared for them to sit. And they sit, and he'll say, Christmas is X amount of days away, whatever that may be. And he'll say, have you thought about what's on your list for Christmas this year? And he lets them talk a little bit. They talk about that, and he'll say, I have a list too. Are you familiar with my list? And then they get invited to go and retrieve. And we don't talk about the naughty list. We talk about, I have my nice list with me today. Can you go and retrieve that? And it's in a special cabinet that's lit up, and it's darling. They go bring that back. And so this whole thing's going to unfold. He's got a lot of different scenarios that he's going to do with them. They stay in our living room area for half an hour. They're going to have a tea party, look through his kaleidoscope. My husband can build anything, and he just built an entire suspended choo-choo train that goes all the way around the room.
Oh my
and so that's
gosh.
going to be the new experience this year. Is he has an old vintage controller. He's going to hand it to the children. They're going to get to start and stop that.
With Santa, part of that.
Anything. And so here, let's pause on this. Let's talk about this being a business. You already know this is spectacular. It's amazing. I've got mom and dad that are sitting 15 feet away. They can hear everything. This is core memories that I'm creating. And here's another part. So on the back of Santa's chair, he has some bells, and we call them the reindeer calling bells. We have this all segmented out so that it runs really smoothly, but it gets to the point where he turns around and he takes the bells and he shows the children the bells, and he says, these are my reindeer calling bells. If I want Rudolph to come, I ring Rudolph's bell. If I want Dasher, I ring Dasher's bell. And he lets the children hold and feel and take them off the strap, and they get to ring these bells, and he puts them back on and he hooks them back on his chair. And then, because he's read The Night Before Christmas to him, and he'll say, what was in the back of my sleigh when you saw that picture? And they'll say, your bag. And he'll say, I have my bag with me today. Would you like to look in my bag? So that's the next thing. It comes over, they stand up, pretty pictures. We look inside. When they open up that bag, there's a light inside. These are not new tricks. What I'm doing is not new. It's how I'm presenting it. I'm not guiding Santa. I'm not pausing by saying, hey, Santa, why don't you want to play a game? Why don't you play a game with the kids? This is visiting with your grandpa for an hour.
He's an actor in this play.
He is. And he is the one that's leading this. So when they reach into the bag, they pull out a bell. And it's just like, it's a nice bell. It's not from Hobby Lobby or someplace. It is a nice brass bell, and it has a ribbon on it that says Reindeer Calling Bell, Santa's Enchanted Workshop. And when they retrieve that, he'll say to them, this is my gift to you to have for the rest of your life. And every Christmas Eve, I want you to go out on your front porch, and I want you to ring the bell and let me know that you're ready for me to come. But then I need you to crawl in bed and go to sleep. What did I just do? I just introduced them to a new family tradition that they are never going to forget, and that's going to be special to them. Not only that, I took a picture of it. So when I have my families come back a week later and I only present to them finished pieces of art, it's typically about 15 pieces. And I've got my big screen TV, and my big pictures come up on the wall, and it looks like a painting, and it's all beautiful, and it's got all the magic in it. And the moms and dads are wowed by this, but they're not quite sure what to do. Everything I do is very sincere, but I will look at the picture to help them, and I'll say, you know what I love about this picture? I love that there's the Night Before Christmas book that Santa read to them. There's the teddy bear that they received from him as a gift. There's the bag they looked in. There's the Christmas tree they helped decorate. There's the globe, and it's all in the picture. I'll say, this is a storytelling time capsule. As your children age, those teddy bears are going to age. As your children age, your book is going to age.
Because they have those as keepsakes.
Yes.
Oh, that's amazing.
And so now they have this time capsule when everything was brand new and fresh, and those are new traditions we've introduced to their family. That's what the parents want. And so they want all the pictures. So they're buying storybooks and albums, and they're buying a wall portrait, and they want grandma to have something too. This is what I love. My art sells itself at that point because I set the stage long before they ever came in. And that's why, and I've had a lot of people say, I've been to the various different conferences over the last 20 years, and I've heard different photographers that have gotten up and they've talked about numbers and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, but really, can I see your books? I have the books to back this up. I don't worry so much about my books. I worry more about my bookings. I don't know for sure that I'm going to get 100 families in this year. I think I will. I have for the last 9 years. I hope to. I can't imagine that we won't, but I don't worry about my sales. I do. If I've got them in, that is a piece of cake for me.
Yeah, you've got that process figured out.
Not a problem.
Sharon, this has been so insightful. Honestly, you actually have me excited about Santa. I don't know if I've made the conversion yet, but if you want to learn more about what Sharon's doing, and it's called Santa's Enchanted Workshop Academy.
Yes.
Where you are hosting professional photographers to teach them your ways.
Yes.
The whole process, soup to nuts, right? Everything from pricing to marketing.
Mm-hmm.
What about to hiring the right Santa?
I'm going to teach you everything, not just hiring the right Santa, but teaching you how to train your Santa, because that is so important.
He's the dancing monkey.
He is your everything, and you pay him well, because he's everything to your business.
Yeah. If he's not delivering on that, you don't have the pictures to support.
I'm going to show you my products. I'm going to tell you my lab that I use. Surprise, surprise. That's H&H. They're awesome, and they're awesome to work with. I've waited 9 years to launch this academy. I've thought about it for a long, long time, but I feel like I'm getting older. I feel like I'm going to be around for a while, but I received so much knowledge from photographers when I first started out, and I've met so many amazing photographers that I want to be able to turn this around, offer it back to others, so that this becomes even more as it goes on.
Well, and I'm always a big believer in, why do I want to make the same mistakes that somebody else made? If I can learn from someone else's
100%.
mistakes and cut a few years off that and get to profitability quicker,
100%.
It's always worth it.
Yeah.
All right, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this segment. Sharon has got an incredible amount of knowledge to share with us. We will see you in the next segment.